Listen, before we go to lunch, you guys, we're going to have a series of Ignite presentations by some incredible people. For those of you not familiar with the format, it is 20 slides in 5 minutes. And I understand that the 4 speakers that you're going to be hearing from shortly have been practicing diligently. So this should be fantastic. Let me introduce our first Ignite presentation. My colleague John Wysham from the Office of eDiplomacy at the State Department will be speaking on new method to search, filter, and manage MediaWiki sites. John?
I guess we start, right? Okay. This will be a fairly technical talk, so it's really quite a departure. Okay, I guess we're live. Right, yes. I'm going to talk about a new search enhancement tool here at the State Department that we built for our collaborative encyclopedia, Developedia. As you know, Developedia is based on MediaWiki software. And Developedia holds a wide range of topics and has a diversity of users. I came to Developedia and by extension MediaWiki sort of by accident. I was posted in Mozambique 5 years ago, and I built a home database based on the strange plants and animals that I saw there. And I built a quick access into that database and found that it was so easy to use that I put all my files in through this quick interface. And then when I came here and started working on Developedia, I noticed that it was fairly similar, that you have thousands of articles in Developedia, and I had thousands of files, and I thought I could use the same quick database possibly with Developedia to make search quicker. Now, you may be asking yourself, well, why would you want to make search quicker? Well, I admire MediaWiki software a great deal, but I do think that the search part of MediaWiki or of Developedia is awkward at times. If you have the exact match for the title, you'll get that right away. But if not, you'll get a list that you now scroll through, and this can take time. And as you see, you're searching the content of the records, and which is fine, but it's thorough, but not necessarily very efficient. It's sort of like a laser in a dark room at times, and you get extraneous information. And because it's looking at the content throughout the database of every article, it can be slow. Categories help, but not a great deal. Mainly what you get when you look at a category is a list of the pages that carry that category. There's no indication of what other categories lie behind those pages. There are subcategories, but we in the State Department don't use them very much. So all in all, it's basically a list of pages that carry the category. So look, Developedia is a great program. I like it a great deal. MediaWiki software has got a very easy on-ramp for editing, for creating articles. But it seemed to me that the search part left a bit, that you could build a good search enhancement tool. My colleagues in the department were very supportive. They gave me a lot of time. And so I eventually built an interface using 2 core MediaWiki tables, category links and page. And from those 2, you join them and you build a core table for your interface. The question then became, what do you call this thing? It's a rapid way to search. It's not, we called it quick search, we called it metamesh, link index, but it doesn't search everything. It's just searching categories and titles. So it wouldn't be fair to call it search alone, and we finally settled on the accurate functional title of title, category search, and filter. And then here you see the interface. There are 558 pages, 30 rows. It's 16,500 articles, which is an exact match with Developedia. Same categories, same titles. The whole table for this interface is 7 megs. It's a very light table. You can search it very quickly. And it syncs with Developedia in about 15 seconds. One of the things that TC Search, let's call it, does very easily is work with categories. Here you see the consulates category, for example. I've selected that, and you see there are 106 records, and you can use the slider on the right and go down and see all the ones that carry the consulate thing. And there's a filter drop-down, which opens up, and that shows the associated categories. In other words, all these records have other categories with them, and there they are in order. And you can click on any of those associated categories and drill down that way. So you could click on consulates in France, and boom, you'd be brought to it. Contrast that with what you have in Developedia when you go to the consulates category. You have the same 106 pages, but you just have the page titles. You don't really see what other categories lie behind those titles. In this case, we don't have the subcategories. Again, we don't use them very often, but it's sort of a thin soup alternative. And you'll see what happens when you click on a subcategory, Canada. So boom, voila, you've got 7 consulates in Canada. If you clicked on Brazil, boom, you'd see the 3 consulates we have there. Click on Germany, 5. And then there's a further filter to the right, so you could actually filter yet again. I've built it for 3 filters. You could program it for more, I suppose. There's another way, too, which is to use the search box. It's actually more powerful than the categories filter because I'm asking the search box to look at both the title of the field and the category. And here I've put in Human Rights India, and you get 30 rows. It so happens that all of them really are categories, but it will pull from the other side. And then it gets even better because all you have to do to filter with this thing is just add more terms. So I've thrown in labor and trafficking, and that result of 30 is now down to 4 because it's got to find all 5 of those terms. So it's, in a sense, more intuitive and convenient to use the search box. There's also a serendipity aspect to this tool. Here back in the traditional Developedia, if you look at the Iceland category, okay, you've got 7, 8 titles, and you sort of have an idea what Iceland carries. But flip back to using TC Search and click on Iceland, and you will see the associated categories that lurk behind the main category of Iceland. And so suddenly you realize it's a much richer choice when you work with Iceland. You've got women's issues, you've got a map, you've got Lithuania. What's the connection with Iceland? Well, you click on that and you would see. Then more recently we added a views column, and you can see in the far right, it's showing how many times pages have been opened. And you can sort it, of course, so I've sorted it, and that's the most heavily opened page, the main page, 500,000 times. If this site were out in the real world, you'd have bots banging the thing, and so it wouldn't really reflect what humans are doing, but this is inside the firewall, so those are people who've opened those pages. And we've added it to our TechCamp wiki, and we've added a recent views, and there's you can select a time frame, and also a category. So these are biography categories. Since July 8th, Eric Gunderson has had his name come up 25 times. It's been 25 views or 25 bots, who knows. And that is the tool. Oh, and you can see at the very top, if you wanted, you can actually play with this tool. It's not behind the firewall. It's out in California at DreamHost. This has the admin screen. You won't get this, but you'll be able to use the other general.
I'm really impressed we're staying on time, man. I have to make the microphone short for me. So please let me introduce our next speaker, Fred Hassani. You can find him on Twitter at Fred Hassani. He's with Tesla Government and a former Foreign Service officer. Welcome, Fred. Thanks for doing this.
There's a title slide, but it's not showing, so the technology is a little bit behind. Let me just start. Business and government organizations have become dysfunctional. Beth's slides were wonderful in showing that even while participation goes up, trust in government has gone down. I believe government structures will be changed, and they'll be changed completely. With the right technology, hierarchy and decision-making processes of an organization can be defined transparently and fairly by the people working in the organization. That's what wikis do today. And with some modifications, they could do it for more things. This is not changing slides. The institutions that Beth was mentioning are actually still good and robust. They are, but they were founded before there was electricity, and the world has become networked, and they've started to look anachronistic. They don't follow our views on marijuana use and a bunch of other things. As connectivity has made capital international, corporations have become multinational. And as information has become more accessible, governments have become more democratic, and that's all good stuff as far as it goes. But corporations are still corporations and governments are still governments. Both have worked hard to keep the world around them up to date and to put on a good face. There is e-government, and that's all good. But the internal functioning of government is mired in rules of the past. And it's not surprising, because nobody would have expected Encyclopedia Britannica to say, hey, let's invent a wiki, let's make Wikipedia happen. That's not in their interest. Governments and corporations are the same. Self-preservation is always job number one. But I'm convinced that society's next evolutionary step will completely change the very idea of corporations and the very idea of governments in the same way that Wikipedia has changed the idea of what's the best way to create an encyclopedia. Just like the human brain, society's brain has developed in steps. The knowledge base created by Wikipedia serves now as the memory and understanding of humanity's collective brain. The next step will be to enable the executive functions of the brain. The new platform, has to have the spirit of a wiki, but with completely different rules. In Wikipedia, if you want an article on the Foggy Bottom metro station and you're willing to write it, great, everybody wins. In Wikipedia, concepts like truth and notability are key. And enforcing the doctrinal rules of Wikipedia, that's the important thing. And for that, you need a leader who's the keeper of the flame, and very little in the way of hierarchy. But businesses and government enterprises have to make decisions that often prescribe what their employees and citizens can do or can't do as a whole. They have a coercive authority that wikis don't have, and that makes them different. Unlike organizations with voluntary membership that are built on big ideas like the Catholic Church or Linux or Wikipedia, businesses and governments need to make choices on an enormous array of astonishingly complex topics, as has been pointed out. And while one person can preserve doctrine in an organization with voluntary membership, the domains of politics and business in the world have become too complex for us to trust it to the wetware inside one person's brain. Occupy Wall Street and single-digit approval ratings for Congress give some evidence of a growing sense of unhappiness with the way current political and economic structures are functioning. And technology can provide much more fine-grained approaches to representation in economy and politics. Members of the Pirate Party in Germany, for example, use software called liquid feedback to make political decisions happen collectively. Not perfect, but it is a start in the direction I'm talking about. So the internet lets us communicate. Wikipedia lets us store objective knowledge. For our collective brain to take on tasks of leading a company or governing a country, we need a different type of software platform that enables the development of collective volition. I don't know if it can be read, but there it is. We can build, on the core of the Wiki principle of openness, a software platform that facilitates fair and transparent decision-making, a key feature of which would be the collective creation of a decision-making hierarchy so that the buck will stop somewhere. One of the problems of Occupy Wall Street was the buck didn't stop anywhere, so decision-making was very difficult. But imagine a wiki where all original ideas are welcome, but where there's also a way for participants to collectively determine which ideas are adopted and how they will be acted upon, because they've created the structure that actually does that. Totally bootstrapped arrangement. The Zuccotti Park occupiers were inclusive and they were participatory, nice stuff, but they were constrained by the limitations of physical space and the lack of any kind of organizational structure for decision making. A virtual platform could address both of these issues. A new type of software is needed, specifically designed to allow groups to organize for collective action. I would suggest that the title of it be Wazi, which is Swahili for clear and open, and interestingly, Wazi means clearly and openly, in the same way that WikiWiki means clearly and quickly. And I think we have started to build such software already, myself and a small group, and we'd be very interested in anybody who'd be interested in helping. Thank you.
All right, I love it. We're also learning new languages today. Up next, Sheila Jackson from the U.S. Agency for International Development will be speaking about revitalizing Developedia, the process of changing a wiki's image. Sheila, thank you. Sure. Just pops up. Let's see. Let's get it. There you go. Thank you. You're welcome. Wait, you're about to. Boom. Thank you so much.
At USAID, we realized that our wiki, Developedia, had a problem. Regardless of the amount of promotion and training we did, the agency wasn't grasping the benefit of the tool. And they didn't see how Developedia could be incorporated into their everyday workflow. And part of the biggest problem we had is that Developedia was boring. This is our homepage. Lots of links, static, nothing new here. And one of our biggest challenges at USAID is we do not have a content team that is solely dedicated to Developedia, which means we rely upon staff to update and add content for us. Seems like it's more than 15 seconds. Yeah. There we go. Okay. So right here, not much happens in Slovenia, but it deserves a little bit more than this. And this really helps to illustrate how USAID sees Developedia. The information is hopelessly out of date. It's irrelevant. And if you do put something on Developedia, you're quickly discouraged because no one's looking at it and no one's updating on it. But we realized that it was going to take more than updated content to change the image of Developedia. We had to figure out a way to take an old rusting tool that no one was talking about and that it was basically sinking, which you'll see in a moment with this picture I have, and how to revitalize it, how to make it more eye-catching. So we sat down and we started a cleanup process to be able to do this. And seriously, this is longer than 15 seconds, right? No? There. Okay. This is what we need to change from an old stagnant, rusting tool that looks like it's about to sink, and we needed to make it into something new and something modern and something that would keep people's attention and let them know new things were happening. So basically, we needed to transform from this into this, yes. We needed something with colors, with pictures. We needed more video and less text. But most importantly is we needed to incorporate practical tips so that people could see how Developedia would fit into their everyday work processes. Well, how we were going to do this? Well, we knew we couldn't update all the content on our own. And when you delete someone's content, you're making a judgment call on it. So in the end, we decided to stick in our own backyard. That would be the CIO, knowledge management, and our project pages. So the first thing we had to do is find out what exactly was in Developedia. We didn't know. We did this through keyword searching, and then we drilled down with the what links here feature. We identified 622 pages. We then took those pages and organized and categorized them. Anything that automatically wasn't one of our responsible parties, CIO, knowledge management, or our project, was automatically discarded. That brought us down to 323 pages. Our next step was to meet with the responsible parties. And basically what we did is we explained to them about the project, handed them a list of pages we felt they were responsible for, and suggested they update, merge their content, or mark it for deletion. We didn't do any of the updating ourselves, but we did give them training and guidance. But now it was time for the KM team to walk their walk. We had 83 pages we were responsible for. We realized we had a lot of redundant content, so we merged 9 articles. We updated 49. We marked 12 for deletion. But as we know, it's going to take more than updated content. Remember our homepage? Boring, static, does not yell, come in and look at me. So we had to figure out how are we going to change this to engage people, to get people to come to the site and keep coming to the site. So we brainstormed and we went from this to this. Much better. We have color, we have pictures, we have a quiz, we have video, and we have a lot less text. And the text we have is a lot bigger. This catches people's eye. This brings them into the site, and that's exactly what we want to do. But we also realized we had to jumpstart collaboration. So what we did is we took the knowledge management page and asked practitioners from around the agency to add their KM activities to the page. This is a great success, and now instead of having 6 knowledge management pages, we only have 1. But we still had to introduce Developedia to the agency. So we use blogs, we put blog posts 2 times a week for a month highlighting the new homepage and new features. We put an article in the CIO newsletter. We've also been reaching out to affinity groups to talk to them, get new content. And, okay, there was a screenshot here, it wasn't, but Developedia the movie, that's our biggest thing. Thank you, eDiplomacy, we stole this from you. It's a 2-minute video, and we're going all out with this one. It will be an agency announcement. We're incorporating into the training, and we're hopefully to put it on the CIO website. It's in post-production right now. So, but maintenance and promotion do not end after 1 month. You have to update that homepage at least twice a month. You also have to do blog posts to make sure that you're promoting the new content and the new features. We're reactivating our wiki gardeners to make sure things stay up to date and don't get out of hand like they did before. And we've also processed cleanup procedures for both people and for our wiki gardeners. You have to give people a reason to go to Developedia. That is why that homepage is changed twice a month. Also, use pictures and video as a hook to get people to look at your content. And also invite people to collaborate on a page like we do with the KM page. That will help jumpstart collaboration. It is not a tool that sells itself, so you're going to have to do constant collaboration. We now have promotion, pardon me. We now have practical tip pages such as how to reserve a conference room, so this helps show people how Developedia fits into their everyday workflow, and also give people content ideas. They're not always sure what to put on a wiki, so help them along. So where does this leave us? We're still promoting, but in August we're going to start a video diary program. We're going to ask agency staff to do a 30-minute video about their story at USAID, because people will watch a half-hour video, but they're not writing or reading a 10-page article. Now, I don't have any stats about how this is all going, but we do have some soft anecdotal evidence. We get comments on the homepage, and we also hear things like, I use Developedia to check out the shuttle schedule. Well, that might not seem like much, but when you had a tool that was basically dead in the water, just hearing that people talk about it is a really great step forward. Thank you.
All right, guys, awesome job. Thank you, Sheila. Next up, we've got Jacob Parcell. You can find him on Twitter at @JakeGab, which is a pretty hot handle. He'll be talking to us about mobile gov Wikithons. Wait for it, expand your core. Thanks, Jacob.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. This is the end, so hopefully I don't flame out in this Ignite session. All right. And then my slide went away. Okay, so I'm here to talk about Wikithons. This is something we use on the MobileGov Wiki to expand our content. I'm hoping it's something you can share and use in your wiki models as well. So you might be asking yourself, well, why MobileGov Wikithon? Well, citizens are mobile. You might have noticed that Jimmy Wells got asked about a mobile Wikipedia tool today. And also the federal CIO has created the digital government strategy, which somebody mentioned over there, and it's requiring agencies to start putting services available via mobile devices. The MobileGov community practice has already been doing this. We've already been developing mobile citizen services, and we've been sharing ideas. We tried to figure out how can we share these ideas with the rest of the government that is trying to do these mobile citizen services to be in compliance with the digital strategy. Well, we came up with a wiki, obviously, that's why I'm speaking here. But the MobileGov Wiki has best practices, how to get your app in the Apple Store if you're in the government. It's actually really hard. And other best case studies of how agencies have approached mobile. The problem we had was nobody had any time to contribute, so what we decided to do is we started to do Wikithons once a month. We found somewhere with Wi-Fi, people bring their computers, they share a couple stories, we create content, but we've also found that we build our community. So I'm hoping today you'll learn to build your core for content. This is an example of an article we had at a recent Wikithon. This is Medline Plus Mobile Health. This is the way they track their statistics and how they do their analytics for their mobile website, which a lot of agencies are interested in. I would have never known it was important. So what we do is we find a public space. We get about a 2-hour slot, and we ask people to come and just kind of tell us what they're doing, write stuff, do this. The focus for me has been to concentrate on getting people to participate. That's really the key. We do that with the MobileGov Fishbowl. What is in here is tasks that we need to have done on the wiki. So we review what we need. It's copy editing, span tag removal, writing articles, and people can pick it out. If they don't like it, they throw it back in. Sometimes people throw a lot of that stuff back in. We gamify. So if you do wiki articles and you do edits and things like that, you get badges. If you come to Wikithons, you get special badges, as you see along the bottom here. The Leap Year Wikithon was my favorite because we did that on Leap Day, and there's a little frog there, so I was pretty excited. MediaWiki Wikithon success. This is the stats on the I mean, they were talking about 30,000 articles or whatever. We're happy with the number we've gotten in our Wikithons. We have a very specific sort of group of people that are looking at what we do, but people join the community of practice and learn more about mobile because of these Wikithons. This slide was put here so I could take a deep breath real quick, but this is for you guys. I'm going to teach you guys how to become Wikithon lions. So there is a point. Breath. All right, you don't need to have a complete wiki to do a Wikithon. Their Wikithons are filled building content. You should probably have some sort of wiki ready to go, but you don't know what you don't know, and that's sort of the point to all the other speakers today. Your wiki is going to kind of build on itself. What you can do is get a variety of bite-sized tasks. I showed you the fishbowl earlier. The fishbowl is there with different tasks. You might want to have themes for your Wikithons. You might want to have wear a crazy hat Wikithon. I don't know, but that's something that people have done. We did a data.gov one. People are at that Wikithon because of the data.gov. Find a good location. This cat, I don't know, whatever. But the location can be wireless. Somewhere with wireless, you can have computers there for people. You can also do a virtual location. We've experimented with that, and I'd love to talk to people about that afterwards. Gamification. This is our Wiki Badge Hall of Fame. Other ways to gamify, you could say give a gift card to the person that makes the most content. You could do all kinds of things. You could maybe get management involved to give people some special privileges. There are many ways to gamify your wiki. I would suggest that. Advertise, 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 advertise. Promote on anything you can promote on. Social media, word of mouth. People might not come to this Wikithon, but they might come to another Wikithon. So word of mouth keeps it going. And then homework. You can give people homework. Wikithons are very sort of open house. People come for 15 minutes, they come for 2 hours, they come and stay longer when I want to go home. But that's okay. You will also have homework. You will have to go back and see what has been done and see where you can ask people for other ideas. This is an example of Bureau of Affairs at DOI. They did a Wikithon. I was surprised. This is their advertising. They did it in 3 places. I don't know really what their wiki's about so much, but they offered free food, and that was very successful for them, as you can see. So again, that's another way to get people to come. So they're taking photos, they're getting people to develop content. They were very excited. It was very successful for them. So I'm hoping this model will be successful for you. And that's my cat. I had 3 cats in this presentation. That was on purpose. And if you'd like to contact me, I'm on Twitter. Our next Wikithon is downtown. Like I said, you got to advertise. So July 31st at the Starbucks down on H if you want to come. Thanks.